Welcome everyone, I hope you guys are very well. And today's video is in regards to changing your working hours after having children. Should both parties change the working hours, or should one person change the working hours to meet the needs of their family? So having a family is important if it's something that you want to do, meaning having children or adopting or fostering, whichever works for you. So if you are a working parent, especially if both parties are working parents, it's important to understand, you've created a child, or you've adopted a child, or you've fostered a child. So obviously they also need you to be present in their trips, events, when they're at home. They also want to see you. So how do we then balance that out? What would work for us to put into place in order for our children to also have us present, instead of the job constantly having us present? There's that saying that if you die today, your job can replace you within seconds. So don't kill yourself for a job. Don't kill yourself to make someone else's dream come true. You can kill yourself for making your dream come true, because at the end of the day, that business may go to your children or your family. Vice versa, it's a winning for you. So my understanding is that if, depending on the sector you work in, if you have a job, you've worked there for more than, for example, 1 year, you can put in a request where you can request for flexible working hours in order to meet your home commitments. But that does not mean that the employer can offer this to you, because also it depends on their business. If their business can cope with you working flexible, yes, they will offer it to you. But if they can't, they cannot offer that to you, because reason being said is that it's not meeting the criteria of the business for it to develop more. Also take in consideration the sector you are in. My sector is education, so it's working around children. There is a bit of flexibility around that, but it's quite limited depending if you are working in a nursery, if you're working in a school, if you're working also in a special school. So again, it varies. There is some negotiation within education, because if you work, for example, in a nursery, it's more easier to have flexible working hours, because you can do rotation. So one person will come in, for example, at 8, while the other comes in at 9, and etc. So again, it depends on the sector or the career path you are currently on. But also taking consideration is that your child needs you to be present in their life. Okay, so if you've made this commitment to have a child, you need to make the commitment to also be in your child's life. So do not kill yourself for a job, please. I know we all have bills we need to pay. I know the cost of living is getting worse. Hey, when I say worse, I mean every April is getting worse. Now it's January's, but just bear in mind, the child has memories of you being present, and you not being present, the child still has memories of that. So just make sure that your job does not have you unlocked, because you have a family that needs you unlocked. So changing working hours to accommodate your family life is very important, as I mentioned. And I think it's a conversation you will need to have with your manager in order to understand what works for you. If you're working in an agency, for example, where it's a 0-hour contract, that could also benefit you in your working life. The pros of working with an agency is that you're flexible. You can offer the agency what hours you're able to work. You can also offer your agency what days you can work, and also what pay you would want, because like I said, the cost of living is getting worse. So working in agencies is also another route if you want to take in order to be flexible with your family life and your career. It varies between agencies, because certain agencies could tell you, okay, we found you, for example, a school and they need you to be there between 8 and 3, for example. But if you're not able to do 8 to 3, it's a thing where you need to tell the agency, I'm able to do, for example, 8:15 till 3 o'clock. So there needs to be some kind of flexibility in regards to the working hours with the agencies. But the only cons of working with agency is that during the half term you will not get paid. So again, you'll be missing out on money, but you'll be having time with your children. So it could be a win-win and a lose-lose. But this is what happens when you have children. You do have to sacrifice something in order to gain something. So this is where your partner also comes into play, where you guys are both obviously bringing in, you know, two sources of income. One of you can work, for example, full-time, while the other works part-time. So that way you're being flexible towards each other. I.e., if you're working with the agency and your partner obviously works throughout the whole year, it's a thing where during the half term he's gonna be bringing in the income while you're taking care of your children, you know. So it's important that you have a partner whom is able to financially support you in that, you know, time while you're with the child, and then September comes, you're able to work again, vice versa. So this is where it's important to discuss working hours before potentially having children, in order for you guys to understand, okay, we've got plan A in place. If plan A does not work, we've got plan B. If plan B does not work, we have plan C. Also, in regards to changing work hours, it can also impact in your development growth in career. For example, if you want to progress into the management field, you need to be available to work long hours, because you are responsible for the employees. So if anything was to happen, you obviously need to be present in order for them to reach you. So when I was a deputy manager at a nursery, I worked from 8 till 6, Monday to Friday. That's before I had the child. So obviously I was free to do that. And, it's hard because everything is basically in your head. In the absence of a manager is the deputy manager, and it was stressful. But however, it worked because I didn't have a little human being whom I have to go home to or rush to. So it worked. But now that I am a mother, I need to take into consideration that I will need to reduce my hours in order to meet the needs of my child. Unfortunately, the career paths may not grow up or develop further higher, because I don't have a what was I gonna say? I don't have a I'm trying to find a word. Someone give me a word. Okay, guys. Dun, 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 dun. No, that's bruh. No word ain't coming now. I don't have the capacity to progress higher because I have responsibilities, and I have made a choice to have a child. Therefore, I also need to sacrifice my career to have a child. You can also have a child and have a successful career, but then again, are you spending that more time with your child, or are you spending the more time chasing money? So whatever works for you, go for it. But just understand that children do grow fast, and children do pick up on absent parents, and children do pick up on who is there for them versus who's not for them. So please think about it. Ultimately, when making choices in career and working hours, what could work for me may not work for you. So you need to do what works for you, and you need to do what also makes you happy. When I go for like roles in within the education field, I always make the employer know that these are my working hours, and if you're gonna take me on to the interview process, yes, by all means go for it. If you're not, we stop it there, because I do not want to waste their time, and I also don't want them to waste my time. So I'm a very straightforward person. I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm not going to go around corners and go, well, basically, you hire me and then we can negotiate. No, these are my times. These are my days. If you can offer it to me, proceed with the process. If you cannot, thank you for this opportunity, and I hope you find a candidate, because I'm not wasting your time. And like I said, you're not wasting my time. Move on to next job search. If you're doing job search, always try and aim for flexibility. Reason being is that flexibility has a more advantage of you negotiating your hours and your days of work, because then it might not jeopardize the business as mentioned, and it might work in your favor. Be straightforward but in a professional manner, so that the employer that is trying to hire you understands, this person can do this and that, and can offer this and that. Does that work within our business, for example? So that definitely works, for me. It has been working for me, and I am so thankful for that. But since having a child, my working hours will need to drop more, because I do, for example, the pick up or the drop off, vice versa. And it's important that I am present in my child's life as he grows up. The only struggle is that, if there's events, for example, he's going to a trip, and, the school decided to give us a 1 week notice. I'm very upset with that. 1 week notice. And and I missed that. But again, it's fine. He's allowed to go to trips without parents being present. We trust our children in the cares of others. It's the factor of life in order for children to also be independent. There was actually a story this is out of the vlogging today, but for argument's sake, I'm gonna call her Angel. So my son, basically, this is at work. My son basically had to stay with his uncle because his school had academic review, which means parents' evening, and I had to work on that day. So obviously he stayed with his uncle, and at the end of the day, when I finished working, obviously I FaceTime him or WhatsApp him. And what's FaceTime? Is that like iPhone? I'm on Android, so yeah, okay, WhatsApp. So I WhatsApp him on video, and I said to him, how was your day? What did you do? Is everything okay? Are you ready to come home? He said to me, Mama, I don't want to come home. I want to stay here. Oh my gosh, Flora, stop getting emotional. Come on, bigger. So obviously I said, okay, you want to stay at home? Obviously I haven't seen him the whole of Friday. So in my heart, I wanted to see him because I didn't see him the whole Friday. I wanted him to come home. So basically, he didn't want to come home. And, I said to him, you don't want to come home. And, I kind of miss you, He's like, no, Mama, I don't want to come home. I want to stay here. You see, when your heart is like, it comes out and then comes back in. So that's what happened to me. My heart, came out. And then I had Angel tell me, stop. And she basically, quote, explained that means basically my son, wherever he is, he's comfortable where he is. And he feels safe where he is. And he knows that you're going to always come for him. When she told me that, because it is the truth, it did hurt me, but because it's the truth, it's understanding that you are allowed to live your life without your child being present. You are allowed basically to do what makes you happy. I quote by Angel, order food that you want to order. Did I not just order from Just Eat? Yes, I did. And I had my wine. Okay, I'm not gonna go on. Anyway, so so he stayed, and I felt guilty at first, as always, but it was wonderful. He had a great time, and so I got to work again. That's how the flexibility works, having also families there to support you in order of time of need. Thank you to my brother. Thank you to my brother for looking after his nephew. So my brother had him, and having that support system is very important in order for you to also work where it doesn't jeopardize your working hours. So I definitely believe that think about your career path and think about the flexibility working hours. Think about negotiating your working hours before applying for the application or going for the interview process, i.e. if you've got the works, email, if they've advertising, there's an email, just email them and be like, would you be willing to negotiate, hours and days, and explain your reasons. Basically, if they are, then obviously apply for it. If they're not, you know that you don't need to kind of waste your time in, you know, clicking that button and you know, allowing the application to go through. So this is a very short video. I honestly hope you guys, you know, enjoyed this little short video. I need to head out. So anyways, thank you again, and thank you to Angel for her beautiful advice with me, you know. But yes, I hope you guys have a lovely weekend, and I will see you guys later. Do take care. Bye.